high-frequency channel where source and spirit meet in tandem, where forces between the mind, body, and spirit meet in friendship, while building a unity of energy and creation, fluidity in consciousness, where we let our spirits speak.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Raven's Den, which is now going to be changed. Yes, folks, the name of the radio show podcast is going to change. It is no longer going to be the Raven's Den. It is now going to be aptly called, as I have chills going down up in my spine and in my legs and all over my arms, the Raven and the Rabbit Hole from now on. Okay, so we got our guest, Scarlet Smoke, okay, aka Ava Mist, okay, with us today. We are going to be asking her questions, interviewing her a little bit, and then we are going to have free chat at this point, so we can talk pretty much whatever we want at the end of all that, and we can figure out what it is, that we would like to do connectively moving forward. All right, so. Welcome, Scarlet. I know your real name, but we will not say that due to anonymous stuff. And how are you doing today, by the way? Blessings to you, love and light. Namaste.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me onto your podcast, and I am doing very well. Thank you.
All right, awesome. Now, the first thing that we want to talk about is a very important part of your journey. I want to ask you first, how did you start out? What started off your spiritual journey in the beginning?
So my spiritual journey started as a child. My parents are immigrated to Canada. My mom's Brazilian and my dad's Uruguayan with some Spanish family as well. And they moved to Canada and started a new life there. So I'm first generation Canadian. And while there, we moved around a lot. And we had, we always had kind of unpacked stuff. My dad was a university professor and he just kept bouncing around. And one day, around the age of 7, I was looking through one of these unpacked boxes and I found a tarot card deck that was gifted to my mother by my aunt, but she never really used it. She wasn't really interested in it. It's an out of print now Spanish deck called the Balbi Tarot, and I haven't been able to get another copy since. I don't have it anymore. But that's when I started when I was 7, and I just really loved it. It was a pip deck, kind of Marseille style, but more colorful. Just had a little leaflet inside, and that was the first definitions that I learned. But I just kept playing with that and learning more, and that was before internet and Google and any of that stuff. So as I was growing up, I kept just asking for books on esoteric topics and things since I was a kid and a teenager. By the time I was 13, 14, I was pretty proficient in reading tarot. However, my father was very adamant that I get a real job and a real career. I wanted to always pursue something in art or esotericism. But I ended up becoming a doctor and at a fairly young age. So I kind of fast tracked my studies and I opened my practice at the age of 26 in Hamilton, Ontario, Stony Creek specifically. And while I was studying medicine and all of that, I obviously, like, my spiritual journey was kind of pushed aside quite a bit. I didn't have a lot of time to devote to that, but I never really stopped reading cards. I've always done that for friends and families and at parties and things like that. And so I had my independent practice as a family doctor for 4 years.
So
And
wait. So hang on a second. So what you're telling everybody is that you changed careers from an actual MD, right?
yes,
Okay, from an MD to now a spiritual practitioner.
that's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So with that being said, I mean, did any of the doctor part of you go into or be a part of like what you do on a daily basis?
Oh, definitely. While I was a general practitioner in Canada,
Mhm.
and we basically have to do everything, a little bit of everything. And a lot of my practice focused on counseling, like all kinds of counseling, psychotherapy, things like that. And a lot of times I actually wished I had my cards when I was seeing my patients. But I
So
spent,
wait, so I sorry to interrupt, but this is just how I guess this is gonna happen like spontaneously. So what would your cards do to assist you in the medical practice if you were ever to entertain that idea?
well, it would speed up the history taking process by a lot.
Okay.
Like, step one is to take a medical history. And first of all, people don't always tell you 100% the truth. So it's easier to, like, if I could have just pull some cards, I could have told them a lot of the history, or just known that, and just kind of have them fill in the gaps instead of spending so much time with the questions. Um, and along the way as well, like that's what how I do it now. I kind of that's why I guess I call myself a therapeutic or a medical cartomancer, because my sessions are very practical. They're very problem solving, kind of, you know um, very structured, in the sense that we go through steps, like we find out the story of the person, and then we find out their main obstacles, their strengths, and then we kind of go
And
from there.
you use what you're saying is that you use your talents and your abilities in order to come to those conclusions. Is that
Right.
okay? Okay. Because I honestly, I've never, me personally, as everybody knows through my followers and my subscribers and everything, they already know that I am who I am, and I'm curious because I've never been involved in a circumstance or a situation where I felt comfortable enough to doing medical things with the cards or the abilities or the feel, the sensitivities or the intuition or the messages that come through. I've never gotten to the point, or I never wanted to get to the point, honestly, where I did medical. So I mean, why did you start medical? I mean, that's what, because you're talking about family medicine, so that's like primary care physician. So, and here, anyway, in the States. And you guys, just so you know, no, she is not in the United States. She's actually outside the United States. If you like to tell them where, it's fine. But I'm understanding. So there's a process here of what you call energetic, like medical history, like getting that information about them. So what do you mean? Like you're talking about ailments, family history as well? Is that part of the information?
Well, everything. And I don't focus my sessions right now just on health. Like it's for health, health, wealth, and relationships, like for everything.
I like
But
that.
often, but often health issues do come up, and they do play a big role um, in the reading and in people's lives. And so then I'm comfortable addressing that. But it's not that I specifically cater to only health issues.
Right. Okay. So I love how you said that. Health, wealth, and relationships, folks. So, like I said, guys, if you guys want somebody that's really seasoned, knows what the heck she's doing, I would prefer. No offense to everybody else who does some similar, some stuff similar to this, but I would say I'd rather go to somebody who used to be a doctor. I would rather do that than go to somebody who doesn't have an MD in something, especially family medicine, because she already knows that process. And then you look at the other spiritual aspect of it too, where she brings in the talents and the abilities of not only a psychic but a medium, a channeler, a multifaceted diviner, and she adds that to all of this, which is health, wealth, and relationships. Now, I want to know, out of all the subjects that you could possibly get, or are requested by your customers, your clients, What is the biggest subject for them usually?
The biggest subject I've found all through always has been relationships.
Okay, so that's
It's
the number one. Okay, number one is
even more than health. Actually in that order, relationships, wealth, and finally health. People seem to be gravitate more to, even when I put posts where I'm just pulling one card or two, I would say about 70 to 80% of the questions are relationship oriented.
so relationships. All right, cool, cool, cool. So I mean, obvious. Most I keep saying obvious, and I got it from you earlier. But we're gonna say that a majority of those things are like what breakups, marriages, engagements.
Yes, all of
Yeah, family, family breakdowns, and vibrational rising, stuff like that. Raising the vibration in the home and feng shui, and probably a couple other things, involved like energy, the movement of furniture and what have you, electronics and all that stuff to kind of get the flow of energy the right way, which is really cool. I'm not saying that she does feng shui. I'm just saying that that's sort of what I'm thinking as as those subjects come up.
well,
So
I
all right.
apply it to my house, but I don't offer it as a service, but I believe very deeply in feng shui, and I try to apply it to my house as much as possible.
Okay, so yeah, see guys, we didn't even talk about it. She just brought it up, so yeah, you could talk to her about that too. All right, now moving on, I want here's the spotlight challenge. No, I'm totally kidding. That's another TV show or game show. But the our spotlight challenge is what is not so obvious about what you do. What are some of the things that you can tell other people here, like on this show, that you wouldn't necessarily tell them, like advertising or marketing your services? Is there anything not so obvious that people need to know about what you do?
Well, I've encountered a lot of death in my career as a doctor and in my life in general. And so I'm really connected to the whole life death process and to the concept that we really are immortal souls that are in a temporary physical vessel. And so I'm quite able to work as a medium. I don't do it often. I find it a little bit draining. But that's something that I find that I could do very it's very accurate and it's very useful for people. A lot of people pass away and there's a lot left unsaid.
Hmm.
And so that's something that I take into consideration when I'm doing my readings. If it comes up that there's been a death or grieving is a big issue as well. I used to also do grieving counseling as like in my practice. Uh, then I'll offer a brief communication to see if there are any messages or something like that from, because that's something that weighs on people a lot, like when regrets, things left unsaid, wanting to say sorry, or perhaps even wanting to know if they've been forgiven, if the person is okay, all of
Okay,
that,
so what you're speaking about is mostly like closure, crossing over. I'm wondering, wanting to know whether or not they're still here, like in limbo, floating
yeah.
around aimlessly, and still needing something, some unfinished business, that they have to do here in order for them to cross. Okay, okay, wow, that's pretty in depth there. And then on top, wow, and then on top of that, you can bring medical into that. Now that would be interesting for me. I've read about anatomy, but that's about as far as I've went. So okay, so where are you are now? Where are you? So where or where? So yeah, guys, Reverend Raymond just got a brain fart for a minute there. Sorry about that, folks. Uh, yeah, because I'm in shock. I'm like, wow, this is nuts. I mean, I'm not saying nuts in a bad way. I'm saying that this is a really, really good step in the spiritual direction of what, like, most people want to know whether or not there's a doctor available that has holistic, practice background. You see,
Yeah.
a lot of people, that's what they're looking for right now. So that's good. Okay. Awesome. So you said that you're really, you're really into this death life process. You also offer grief counseling, which is really good. I mean, I know that there's many people that could definitely benefit from that. No, but you would say that you do, as just let me clarify for for the audience, is that you combine grief counseling sessions and mediumship, like spiritual communication.
Right.
Okay, I just want to be clear so everybody knows what we're talking about. We always talk about divination, mediumship, stuff like that. Some people just may not understand at first what that particularly means. So we just want to make sure that we cut all bases. So okay, all right. Could you give me? Oh, this is going to be beautiful. Could you give me an example of a session that you've had where it was the best experience that you could possibly have, or the best experience for the client?
A session in the sense of like one of my card readings, or specifically related to mediumship?
Anything that you offer.
Well, I love doing my hour sessions that are like a complete overview of everything, and kind of get everybody's questions answered, and then kind of get some goals and how to move, strategy on how to move forward. But lately I was working on getting some testimonials, and actually some of those readings were extremely fulfilling. I've like that really is my favorite. I really feel like I'm helping people more now by doing my card sessions than I ever could as a doctor, which is why I left my practice. I just felt like it wasn't enough. Like you couldn't really, the healthcare system is quite flawed, and it's not so much interested in curing.
Oh, like we never knew that.
Aside from the fact that the hospitals are all super haunted and nobody wants to deal with that, and that's an issue as well. But that's another topic for another day.
Yeah, that's definitely another topic for sure.
But
Um,
it does affect people's health to be in a hospital with a lot of different energies that are there as well. So, excuse me, I'm just going to open the door to let my dog out. I'm sorry.
yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Always got to be an animal lover, especially when you're in this type
There.
of business or spiritual practice. All right, so you're saying that there's a bunch of haunted hospitals in Mexico. Okay. All right.
Well,
Oh
like
yeah.
I
Well, we
but yeah,
finally said it. We said it.
yeah.
We said it. We said where you're at. So guys, yes,
Yeah,
she is.
I'm in Mexico. I'm in
Yeah,
Mexico. No
yeah. She's
secrets.
yeah. So she's so guys. She's in Mexico, but she does personal private. Well, I guess I would say personal, private, and online sessions. So we're gonna put the information out there at the end of all this. Now, what I was asking. Okay, let me rephrase what I was asking because of whatever. But what I was asking for specifically was there ever a time where you had the most amazing experience, or not just you, but also your client had one of the most amazing experiences, and what would that be?
Well, let's pick one. There have been several, but I think oh, I don't know. I have a hard time picking. But one of them, this I've also lived in Guatemala for a few years while I was learning to tattoo. But and met a friend there, and she also a card reader, but she focuses a lot on doing therapy for women who have had a history of abuse and such. And so I did a session with her. I shared with her, I said, look, I'm finally going to do this now. I'm going to like dedicate my career to this. Like it's going to be my like last career, let's say. and and she said, oh, well, I would love to be one of your first paying clients. And I wasn't like that close to her while I was living in Guatemala, but we kind of reconnected through social media. She's American as well, but she's living in Guatemala, in Lake Atitlan now. And so she said, I would love to experience one of your sessions. So she was actually one of the first people that I did the trial hour session that I kind of developed with a whole bunch of different types of cards, including like Lenormand, Kipper, playing cards, oracles, everything. I designed this hour system and I tested it on her, and she
Okay.
said it was fabulous. It was so useful for her. She was looking for a direction to take in her career and some personal things that happened to her there. And it was amazing for me because I really got that, like, oh, it worked. Like I actually did come up with something
It's like,
that is exactly what
like an aha moment, saying
like, oh,
like
it
wow.
worked.
Yeah, you're
Like,
like, oh my God, like seriously, finally something I've actually devised completely, completed a whole cycle. That's really, really good. Now my question is, wow, this is going pretty fast, honestly. What if you were to give someone any advice, like someone who's gifted, right? Let's say they've went through something similar to what you've been through, like the medical profession, things like that, and they've decided to ditch the white coat and the stethoscope, and they wanted to go more spiritual or holistic in nature. Is there any suggestions that you would have for those people?
Yes, I would say always make time for yourself. If you're drawn to that, even if you're in an environment where most people aren't really into it or don't believe it, make time for yourself. I would always like make time for myself anyway. I was during the last 2 years of my practice, I was also going through my Wiccan initiation as a Wiccan high priestess, and I
Oh,
didn't care. I made time for that. Like I was working full time and everything, and I made time for it, even when I was not. So I just say, make time for your spiritual needs, because one day it will pay off, and one day you will be able to actually bring that to fruition and combine it with your other experiences in a unique way. But make time for it.
and when you make the time aside from studies, I mean, what else would you suggest for those people
Well,
aside from
I
studies?
actually went through, I wasn't really keen on becoming a doctor in the first place. I was quite pushed into it by my father. And I actually went through some pretty serious depression and leaning towards the suicidal end of things. And I actually approached the system. I approached my medical school and I said, I need some counseling. I need some therapy. And they said, no, you could get the therapy, but I also have like some retinal condition where I had to get my retinas lasered back. And they said, if we give you counseling, it's going to jeopardize your health insurance. And so you won't be able to get health insurance if we treat you for something like depression. And so I said, fine, then I won't get the treatment. And I treated myself with meditation. I got really deep into Vipassana meditation. And
What
so
what did you call it?
I don't know if it's pronounced Vipassana or Vipassana, but the traditional meditation where you just sit and meditate.
Well, now you got
And
me curious.
so I think that's something that I like. It doesn't matter what kind. I also read a book that's called The Book of Secrets by Osho. I don't know if you're familiar, but it provides like I don't even know how many, like hundreds of meditations, and eventually you'll hit one that vibes with you. And I think my advice is always, I'm super pro meditation. Like it saved my life. And I think anybody who is questioning their life path or
Okay,
anything like
so just to clarify, y'all. All right, I actually looked up both Pasana and Vipassana or Vipassana.
that. Uh-huh.
And I actually there wasn't really so much about the Pasana, but there was about Vipassana.
Yeah, it's
So,
Vipassana.
okay, yeah. So Vipassana meditation, I want to, just so you guys are educated a little bit. All right. So if you guys want, it's Vipassana with the little, up top of the A on the end. It's also known as insight meditation, folks. Okay, it is a mindfulness practice rooted by Theravada Buddhism that focuses on observing reality without judgment. It involves paying close attention to the present moment, including physical sensations, thoughts, and emotions to gain a deeper understanding of oneself and the nature of existence. Even more, hang on. So, mindfulness, it emphasizes cultivating mindfulness, which is a state of being fully aware of the present moment without judgment. Then there is self observation. It involves observing one's own thoughts, feelings, and sensations without attachment or judgment. The next is insight. The goal is to gain a deeper understanding of the true nature of existence, including impermanence, in, impermanence, and unsatisfactoriness of all phenomena. Detachment as well. Practitioners are encouraged to detach themselves from their thoughts and emotions, allowing them to observe them without getting caught up in them. And equanimity or emotional balance is an important aspect of this, and it helps practitioners remain calm and centered in the face of difficult emotional experiences. So I just want to give you guys, there's a little more here. It says how it works and all that stuff. But if you look up Vipassana, it'll show you right away an AI overview and all the other definitions. So if you guys want to check that out, you can. Oh, really, really cool. So you use that. All right. So Vipassana.
And it worked 100%.
I could only imagine what kind of like dark night of the soul that stuff would stir up. I mean, what kind of shadow work somebody would have to do on that level, right?
I was in the middle of medical school, and it was like, a kind of do or die situation, quite literally. So I
Right.
had to get I had to get better fast. And I was just gonna, all the effort that I put in to get there in the first place would have been gone. So
Well, it would have gotten made things worse. That's what it probably would have done. Now I'm actually seeing here. I mean, this is sort of like a fight. I mean, you're the part of fight or flight that you were attempting to use in that area. I mean, that's powerful right there. I mean, it's literally you making a choice, and your choice came to the forefront as spiritual and religious development.
right. Yeah.
Folks, don't be scared of this stuff. All right. If you're pulled to something, learn about it. If it doesn't resonate, let
Yes.
it go. Let it go. All right, folks. That's what we're talking about. All right. Now, ooh, I'm thinking about a couple of questions. I mean, we moved through these questions fast, boy. Like boom, boom, boom. You were on point. Thank you. But on this note here, have you ever had any type of like pitfalls and follies while you were going through all this? I mean, did you have any channeling? Sorry about that. Challenging rather experiences that may have put a pause on your training, or any type of challenges would stop you from doing what you're supposed to be doing?
Um, no, but I think that's probably I'm a triple fire, Aries sun, Leo rising, Sag moon, and pretty much everything else is in a Scorpio stellium. And I'm pretty focused. Like I see the obstacles, I understand the obstacles, but I don't um kind of allow them to become obstacles. I guess it's just like that's part of what I got from all that meditative study. But I know I have to say that obviously there's challenges in the sense of competition for things, in the sense of maybe disapproval for maybe like appearances or things. But I have to say, like, I'm pretty just
Well, what I'm at, I mean,
yeah.
with what you just said, sorry to interrupt, but with what you said, are you able to assist with obstacles that people are going through?
That's my main, that's what I love doing. That's my favorite thing to do is help with obstacles. And at the same time, I find that the best way to overcome obstacles is to focus on the strengths. So just sometimes when people face challenges or face obstacles, they become really focused on their problems and their weaknesses. But if you kind of take a step back and say, wait a minute, like, but let's talk about some of your strengths. And then suddenly it's like the obstacles start to shrink somehow.
Okay, well,
And
I just got a word. Okay, I got a couple of words actually. It's like a title for something like that. Now, guys, you guys know me, mixer of words, and I always play. I always play with words, and I would like to now. This one sounds a bit off, but that's okay. First try. But what I would consider that would be an obstacle penetration teacher.
I like that. That's
Okay.
fabulous.
So yeah, that's for some reason it just I heard the words that you were saying, and all of a sudden I saw the wall, and you just like Hulk, just smashing your hand through through that obstacle, that wall, and it just crumbling down just crumbling, yeah, just crumbling down, like a ton of bricks. So I like that OPT, and we call that opt. Okay, so optical penetration teacher, but I don't know if I don't know. We might have to change that name sooner or later because you're not really teaching; you're more assisting. So I don't know.
It's
Well, we could actually say obstacle penetration aid. It sounds horrible. It sounds horrible, but people will be like, "Oh, what is that?" All right, cool, cool, cool. Now I got a couple of things here, and I'm going to take notes while I'm being answered. So when anybody wants to book with you or wants a session with you, how do they find you?
on my website. I have everything on my website. I also have Facebook and TikTok, but I think it's the easiest to just go through the website.
So
I'm
can
open
you?
to messages on
Well,
Facebook
what
as
I'm
well.
saying is, I mean, what's the name of the website? Like, what's the URLs, the stuff like that?
The website is AIVA .ju.mp, like Ava Jump, basically, but with the dots.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Ava Jump. Okay. And this is your personal website, right?
Yeah.
I mean, well, we consider that your professional website?
Yes, it's my professional website. It's my only website.
Pro site. Okay. Now you also said that aside from that, what's some of the other ways that they can get in touch with you?
I'm on Facebook. I'm under Scarlet Smoke in brackets, Ava Mist. It's a totally public profile. It's just my business account, and I'm on TikTok as Ava Mist as well.
TT. Okay, as Ava Mist. Okay, Mist. MIST.
Yes.
Not like amidst. Okay. Now that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. And I'll do some things and put your information there. So wow. All right. So wow, you could be like a fight or flight coach. That'd be kind of cool.
That's a good one.
Yeah, fight or flight coach. That'd be really, really cool. Um, has there ever been any odd requests from people that you couldn't do?
Well, no, because I've just started doing this professionally, and I'm like, for now, I've just run into normal requests. For
Right.
now I've just been doing normal sessions. I haven't had anything weird come up yet, but now that you mentioned it, probably there will be.
Oh, I can almost guarantee it. Being me doing stuff as long as I have, you will have some very, very strange requests. Trust me.
Thanks.
So, I mean, if you say I'm open for additional requests, that's what's going to happen. So, okay. So when you said just started, what do you mean by just started?
Like I just put myself out now as having this as a business. Like I said, I've always just been doing it for free.
This
I've
year?
always just, yeah, this year,
This 2025?
like a few months ago.
Okay.
Yeah, we can say this year. I guess it's my 2025 project. That was my goal to start this year. By the end of the year, just have that like totally
And
established.
if anybody was to ask you this, what would be like a main focus for yourself in the next, like I'd say, close as we possibly can get. Let's say the next like 6 months to a year. What would be a direction you want to go, accomplishment you want to make?
Well, I'd like to have regular clients. I'd like to have about, let's say 20 clients a month. That would be good because I'm also a stay-at-home mom. This year I'm homeschooling my kid because we've been having some moves. We're going to move back to Mexico City. So it's quite a busy year for me. So I'm happy with about 20 clients a month I can handle well.
So, guys, they're talking 20 clients a month. So we're talking about 5 people a week. All right. You don't want to bombard her, but she will get to you within a timely manner. I would suggest. Um. Let's see. Wow. You got TikTok, you got Facebook, you got your own personal professional site. Okay, that works. All right, you got it all set up, as far as I can see. And if there was anything that you could say to an open public, either about yourself or any words of wisdom or any of the things of the latter or in between, what would that be? If you were to send a message out to a majority of these people that are out here in the public, what would you say?
I think a few things. The main thing is no regrets. Never regret anything that's either happened to you in your life or that you've done. And don't doubt yourself. Don't doubt your intuition. No regrets, no doubts, and no lies. Be honest.
Okay, I'm trying to write this as fast as I can. Okay, and be honest
Be a
with
good
everything.
person. That's the best spiritual protection of all times. Be a good person.
And number 4, nice. That is the Ascended Masters code. Okay, which is B. I'm going to put BE, E, a good person. Okay. Awesome. Guys, listen, this has been one of the fastest interviews I've potentially had ever since the show. And if you guys could be in my seat right now, those who are sensitive will know what I'm talking about. Is sitting in like awe of the energy of this individual here, because it's so soothing, so it feels so healing and comfortable that I could probably tell her my whole life story and not even know it. Well, I probably could, and then she'll remember it like verbatim. I got the gift of forgetting. So, guys, again, I'm going to reiterate this. All right, if you're looking to book with Scarlet Smoke, you can do it on her professional website, which is aiva.ju.mp, Mary Paul. Okay, you can also find her on Facebook, which is also Scarlet Smoke, and TikTok, which is also Ava Mist, Mist. Go check out her content and things like that. Is there anything else you'd like to tell everybody?
I don't know, and I think we're good.
All right. Well, then we're good. All right. If we're good, we're good. All right, guys. I'm going to tell y'all, as I always say, thank you, thank you,
Well, I'd
thank
like to
you.
say thank you. I'd like to say thank you.
There you go. All right. So we got the attitude of gratitude going on in this episode. That's awesome. Okay, so thank you guys for watching. Thank you for your comments. Thanks for your subscriptions as well. And also, thank you for sending support to the radio show. Okay, it's very, very important. If you don't know how to do that, go into the link in the banner in my YouTube channel, the link tree in my bio on TikTok, as well as the button on my business page on Facebook, which is Raven Nightclaw or HP or whatever. You guys know where it's at. It's on the link tree in my bio, which is everywhere all over social media. It's up here somewhere. I don't know, wherever you guys can see it. All right. So be humble, be blessed, y'all. Live in the vibration of love and take care of each other. Okay, because we need more of that. And when you need us, you know where to find us. All right, guys. We'll talk soon. Next episode is, guess what? I don't know, but I'll see you soon. All right. Well, take care. See ya.
A high-frequency channel where source and spirit meet in tandem, where forces between the mind, body, and spirit meet in friendship, while building a unity of energy and creation, fluidity in consciousness, where we let our spirits speak.